Something new comes about, something new happens, or something old becomes new again. Because life is a lesson learning conundrum. Sometimes we understand it and sometimes we don't. So when we can learn from life's lessons every day, the ones that come and the ones that just show up, think about it. How many times in a day have you said, I already know how to do that, I can do that, or that's that way? But then on the next hand, you're like, okay, what changed? Life is about lessons that we learn. It's about successes. It's about failures. And it's more in tune with what are we doing with the failures that we have. And we're all going to fail at something anytime soon, or maybe it'll be down the road. You never know. I always look at all my failures, and I have them, and I have them a lot. We all do. And when you can acknowledge that, yes, I failed at that, but I learned so much. And I've learned that any failure I have, it is in lack of where my standards are. A lot of times I will find a failure that I've done that didn't come about the way I wanted it to, and I failed to reach my goal. I failed to reach my initiative. And that's because my standards weren't where they needed to be. And that comes from what I was thinking, what I'm feeling, and all the above. So when I add all that together and I look at, okay, I failed at that success that I wanted because my standards were not up to the caliber that they needed to be. So I've learned along the way in my life that in order to have my successes mean what they need to mean, I need to acknowledge the failures that I've had. The failures that I've had are right there. They're everywhere. And you look at the failures that you've had, and they're just like, boom. They tend to just grab you and hold you down. Because then you get this self-conscious thing of, well, I failed at that, or I failed at that, and I failed at that. So what good is it? Well, it is a lot of good, because if you look at each failure and the success that came about because you learned what worked and what didn't work, you can find that you're manifesting more of what you really want than more of what your ego thinks you need. So I know I have to make changes as needed in my life, in my standards, in my mindset. And as you do this, take in mind that you will make changes in your standards as you grow and as you evolve into more of who it is you want to become. Because most people don't want to be the person they are right now. You may be a multimillionaire, but you may strive to be a billionaire. So that means the person you are right now is not the person you want to be. We all want to be someone bigger and better and more influential, or have more of what it is we desire to have in our lives. And that's just normal human beings. We are meant to come to this planet, to this earth form, to create. So keep creating, keep manifesting, keep growing, and keep expanding who you are. So I like to know what steps I need to do along my way, because I know where I'm going. I know that the road could be up, it could be down. I know it could be hard, it could be not. I know that these things are going to come about for me. Sorry, I guess itch. And so I know that every step of my growth, as you will find with you as well, it will get better and better. And I like to see my success happen, but I also look at the failures I've had along the way, because I know that every failure I've had along the way has created the successful life I have now. And knowing the successful life I have now is because my standards are high. I always put my standards way up here, way high, higher than what they need to be, because I have to reach my plateau. I have to reach above where I want to go. And when I can go above where I want to go, what's going to happen? Everything's going to happen. Everything's going to unfold for me as I become in alignment with what it is I want to achieve. So I know that every level of my income as it grows, I do not ever want my income to stay where it is, because let's put it this way, the economy is always changing, society is always changing. I want to always be a step ahead of the normal. I want to have financial freedom. I want to always have freedom to come and go and travel and to do what I want to do when I want to do it, and to have a successful business. So I know that in all my business streams, I have to dedicate my time. I have to dedicate myself. I have to set my standards on where I want this business to go. I have to be willing to take the opportunities when they come. Because if I'm not willing to take the opportunities when they're presented to me by the universe, by God, by another person out there, so if I'm not willing to take those opportunities and to go boom, 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 all the way up, down to the boom, then what am I asking for? I'm asking for success, but I'm not willing to take the steps. You have to be willing to take the steps needed. And that's why we have so many people out there right now in the marketplace who are giving and sharing and teaching all of us how to get to that next step, how to grow yourself, how to be that person, how to be prosperous, how to use the systems, how to use the strategies, how to use these skills. Not just that, when you know how to use the skills, you can more develop your skills. And why not? Why not do all the above? Why not be that person? Why not be who you can be? You know, it's all about the standard you have on the life you want. And like I said, I'm content, but I'm never satisfied with the life I have, because I'm always wanting more. Not just for me, but for my family, my friends, for the people around me. Because I know if I progress and if I am successful for me, I'm going to make life more successful for the people I care about. Because what I'm doing and what I'm sharing and what I'm producing out there is going to rub off on the people I teach, the people around me. So I know this for a fact, and as you do too, I'm sure. Because you know that the more you set your standards high, you set your standards to succeed, you set your standards to learn and to grow, and you're willing to learn from the people out there who are teaching and sharing the skills that it takes to get a successful business. A lot of people today are going online to work. A lot of people are out there striving and struggling to get it out there. The thing is, they're not taking the steps that they need to from the people who are already doing this. When you can take the steps from the people who are already doing what you want to do, don't you think that gives you 3 steps ahead of the average person? Exactly. Because you're learning from the people who are already doing it, who are making a living, who are making an income, who have a wealth factor already invested. So why not learn the skills that they have to teach us? Why not learn these skills? And I learned that a long time ago, is I like to learn from the people who are already doing what it is I want to do. That's going to give me success because it's already been tried, tested, and proven. So why not use the system that's tried, tested, and proven? Think about it as you set your standards today. Or maybe it's this late in the day, so set your standards first thing in the morning. But I always set my standards throughout my day because sometimes they change depending on what I'm doing and depending on where I'm going. My standards will sometimes change to something else I want to do. But always my standards are high on what do I want to accomplish in my life. My life standards are always high. So as you go through your day, you set your standards first thing in the morning. What are you going to do? What are you going to create? Who are you going to learn from? Come on, there's people out there who are teaching and sharing and growing. If you're not willing to learn from these people who are already doing it, I don't know what to say. All I can say is I learn from these people as well as people learn from me. It is a big circle that we share and love and laughter. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. The more you do, the better you are. The better you are, the more success you have. The more success you have, the bigger your bank account. Will your bank account ever be as big as you want it to be? I hope not. Will your bank account keep growing? I hope so. Because that's what life is about. It's about constant growth. It's about prosperity. It's about being that person. It's about being who you need to be. So keep growing, keep prospering, and set your standards high. And look at your failures and see how those failures have turned into successes. Write them down. You're going to want to look at these later in life. So learn from the people who are already doing what you want to do. Use their skills. Use the tried and tested systems. And why not be as best you can be? There's no reason why you can't. There's no reason why you can't get the opportunities when they come. You can't get it when they're there. When people are offering it to you, why not take advantage of that? Just saying. This is just a quick little broadcast to help you get in tune with today, because today's Monday. Set your week with the highest standards and the best outcome to come for you, your business, and your life. Okay? Talk to you later.